Hi, welcome to Therapeutic Yoga today. We are doing a class focusing on low back arthritis. So, I'm starting with my little spinal model here so that people kind of understand what I'm talking about. Arthritis is a term that's commonly used, but most individuals don't actually understand what arthritis means. And so, we're going to break down the word for a second, and then we're going to talk about where spine arthritis or low back arthritis occurs. So the word arthritis, arthro stands for bone, itis stands for inflammation. And so what most people don't understand is arthritis of your spine, specifically your low back, occurs when the degeneration of the joints or the wearing down of the joints are inflamed. Now, just like every part of our body is degenerating, ladies and gentlemen. So if we think about wrinkles, that is a degeneration of our skin organ. When we think about gray hair, that's a degeneration of our hair. All of our joints in our body degenerate over time. The key is you want it to degenerate at an appropriate age frame, and you don't want certain parts of your spine or your joints to degenerate too fast, or that's when you end up with inflammation, and that's when you end up having to treat usually back pain and other issues related to that. So when we talk about the spine, my little trusty guy that I have right here, the beige area on the bottom is the pelvis, and these are the little hip joints right here. The blue area is the lumbar spine, and the green area is the thoracic spine. And way up here in this purple area, we've got what's called the cervical spine. When we look at the spine from the side, it makes this beautiful sinusoidal or S curve. And what you should be able to see is that through the lumbar spine, there's what's called a lordosis. Our joints of our low back are on the back side of our spine. The front part of our spine has bone, and there are discs in between them, but the big joints of our low back all occur on the back of our spine. So when we have spine arthritis, meaning that there's inflammation in those joints of our back, oftentimes the causes are that the back is being overloaded. So it's an alignment issue of the spine. We're going to work on that in standing. Or the pelvis is creating too much of an unevenness, so it's an alignment issue from below. We're going to work on that today. And then, of course, the third main reason why inflammation happens to joints is when things get too weak, and then all of a sudden you're just relying heavily on just the joints, and they become inflamed. So we often hear the term degenerative joint disease, and degenerative joint disease is when the degeneration of your bone is occurring at a rate faster than your age. When we hear the word arthritis related to the low back, that degeneration that's occurring faster than your age also has an inflammatory component. So let's do a class today to really work on the alignment of our low back and those joints that are in the back of our spine, not talking about a disc class so much here today, but the joints of our low back. I'm going to really help you learn how to create mobility to them, because there's a good phrase called motion is lotion, meaning it lubricates joints and it gets rid of or it decreases the inflammatory process occurring in those joints. So we're going to mobilize and get motion into those joints today. So for class, you're going to need a yoga mat. You're going to need some sort of wooden dowel or a stick, a broom handle, mop handle, rake handle. Just don't hit yourself with the rake. All work really good. And then you're also going to use and need a small pillow when we make it to the floor. So if you want to grab those things and then come back and join me and we'll get started. All right, so let's start with working on our alignment in standing. So a lot of us think, okay, I stand okay, but it's a habit of how you've chosen to stand. So let's make sure that you've got the correct alignment for you. So let's start at the feet. Feet in hip distance. What does that mean for most of us? Well, you saw that little anatomical model. The hip joints kind of sit in the front. And so generally speaking, you want your legs to run perpendicular down from your hip joints. For most of us, it's a cool little anatomical thing that our fists, two fists, the width of them, between our feet are approximately hip distance for you. So check in that you've got that hip distance between your feet. Now, naturally, our hip rotators, because we do a lot of sitting and we do a lot of inefficient standing, they get tense and tight. The external rotators do. So it's common for us to stand with our feet turned outward. So what I want you to now do is look down and check in that the outside of your feet is running with the front and the back of your mat. You may feel like your legs are turning inward, and that is what you should feel like if your hip rotators are tight and you tend to keep your legs turned outward. Good. Now, take your toes, lift them up for me, please. And once you've got your toes lifted up, start to just gently from your ankles, move your weight front to back until you can feel where there's weight in the ball of the big toe and the ball of the pinky and weight in the heel, but not all of the weight is in the heel. And so if you have, an average size foot, that's a size 7 or 8 if you're a female, or a 10 or 11 if you're a male. Imagine that you're trying to use the whole length of that foot to balance your body, not just your heel. Now that you've got your weight between the balls of your toes and your heels, just very slowly relax the toes back down into the floor. Good. Now take your weight, take your mind up to your knees here. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to tighten your thighs and really contract your knees, pull the kneecaps up, and then relax it and find that soft knee bend that we really want to have when we're in a standing position. Then take your hands to your pelvis. The analogy that's often used with the pelvis is that if it's a soup bowl, you don't want your soup spilling out the front, or you don't want your soup spilling out the back. So what I want you to do in this position, keeping the alignment into the center of your feet, keeping your knees soft, is just work on tucking and tilting your pelvis. Find where for you feel the end of range of motion of both, and see if you can find that middle of the road, and then kind of check in. Does it look like that soup bowl is nice and level? Or is it still tilted slightly forward, or still tilted slightly backward? And then once you have that position of your pelvis, check back in through your ankles that you haven't lost the weight into the front of your feet. Very nice. Now from here, it's about getting the alignment of our rib cage on top of that pelvis, on top of those legs, on top of those feet. So what I want you to do today is take a hand to your belly, and take a hand to your chest. So let's put the right hand on the chest, the left hand on the belly. In an efficient standing position, you should be able to see that those hands kind of line up from the front of the belly to the front of the chest. A lot of us, either our chest kind of comes behind us, a major cause of low back arthritis, or worse yet, our chest might come in front of us and we do something funky with our pelvis to accommodate. So let's align up our hands and line up our rib cage with our pelvis here. So here's what I want you to do. Take a nice deep inhale and lift the rib cage up. You've got it. Now look forward at your feet. Can you see your toes? Then exhale, relax the rib cage down, and then soften the belly. Try not to hold your abdominals tight. Very nice. Now that you have that alignment of that rib cage over the pelvis, over the leg bones, over the foot, you at home may feel like you're almost falling forward. Well, that's your new positioning of alignment to get out of those joints of your low back that you've often been irritating. Some of us, as soon as we bring that rib cage forward, we start to tilt our pelvis again. So check in right now that that soup bowl is still level. Do you need to kind of settle your tailbone and soften your knees again? All right, now let's get our upper body in the same alignment, even though our focus today is our low back. So take your hands down to your side. Go with your right shoulder first and gently shrug the shoulder up. Turn the thumb all the way to the back of the room and pull your shoulder blade back and down, and then just rest your hand to your side. You should see that it lines up with the pelvis and the rib cage. Now let's do the same thing with the left shoulder. Gently shrug it up, rotate the hand and the shoulder blade back, pull that shoulder blade back and down, and then just soften that arm. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Imagine that someone's pulling your hair from the very top to lengthen the back of your neck. And then as you've got that chin tucked inward, go back and feel your feet. Did you lose the weight into the balls of your big and your pinkies? If you did, use your ankles and shift that weight slightly forward. Did you already start to tip your pelvis back forward again? If you did, see if you can settle that tailbone, relaxing the abdominals though, so not a hard pelvic tilt. All right, now here's what I want to do today. All I want you to do is, if you are okay with your balance and closing your eyes, I just want you to close your eyes right here. Feel the weight in the ball of the big toe, the weight in the ball of the pinky toe, and then the ball and into that heel, feeling the weight through there. But can you play with that ankle position so that it's equal throughout, front to back and right to left? Now slowly take a nice deep inhale into your belly through your nose. And then through your nose, exhale that air out again. Now keep your eyes closed, practice your balance a little bit here. Here's what I want you to do before we start really working on opening up those joints of your low back. Take this moment right now, these next 2 to 3 seconds, and think of something you're grateful for. Something you might have, someone you might know, something you might do. Take one moment and think about what you are grateful for. Very nice. Then open those eyes up. Bring your hands to the center of the heart and let's start opening up that spine, shall we? So take a nice deep inhale. Lift your arms all the way up. Turn your palms, and as you exhale, bring your arms all the way down. Let's do that one more time, hands to heart. Inhale, lift the arms nice and high. Turn the palms, and as you exhale, dropping the arms all the way down. Hands to heart. Inhale the arms up. This time, left hand grabs the right wrist all the way up overhead. Now push into your right leg. Gently tuck your tailbone under. Take a deep inhale, lift your rib cage up. And as you exhale, side bend over to the left. Now make sure as you side bend over, you're still tucking that tailbone under. Think of the stretch coming from the armpit all the way to the low back. Can you check in that your armpit is not pointed downward to the floor, but pointed upwards to the ceiling? Now taking a nice deep inhale here, still pushing into that right foot, still tucking that tailbone under. Give a little bit more stretch over to the side. Now, can you take a deep inhale into your belly here? And exhaling out. One more time. Nice deep inhale into your belly. And exhale out. Now, keep the pull of the right arm and slowly start to turn that armpit down and pull that right arm forward. Hopefully, you'll feel that latissimus stretch right to your low back. Push into the right foot. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, pull that right arm a little bit more forward. Deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling here. Push into the right foot. Good. Now, inhale, slowly bring the arms up, and then exhale, bring the arms down. All right, let's do that again on the opposite side. So hands to the heart. Inhale the arms all the way up. Turn the palms to the ceiling, and then exhale, opening all the way down. Hands to heart. Inhaling, lifting high. Turning and exhaling, coming all the way down. All right, hands to heart. This time, Right hand grabs that left wrist. Inhale, lift the wrist all the way up, and then exhale, pull the wrist up and over to the right side. Now push into the left leg. Feel that weight shift over to the left side. Tuck that tailbone under so you can feel that stretch all the way into your low back area. Can you check in with your armpit and turn that armpit upwards towards the ceiling for me? Take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, really reach and pull that arm up and over to the side. Push into the left leg, tuck the tailbone under, armpit is up. Now take a deep inhale into your belly here, and exhaling out. Now keep pulling that left arm and start to pull the arm as you turn the armpit down towards the floor, but pull the arm away from you. Keep pushing into that left leg. Deep inhaling here into the belly and exhaling out. Inhaling, lifting the arms up, and exhaling, dropping the arms down. Very good. Now, grab that wooden dowel, that stick, that mop handle, that broom, that whatever you are using. And once you have it, here's what you're going to do with this today. You're going to take the dowel and you're going to place it right in the center of your two buttock muscles. So think about the seam or the butt crack and place that stick, that dowel, so that it's sitting right between the two of them. Allow yourself to have that pelvis in that neutral position that maybe you can even feel the pelvic bone, the sacrum touching that stick. Then make the stick feel like it's touching the center of your rib cage, so the middle of your back. And then lengthen your neck and settle your chin and get the back of the head to touch that stick. Now, word to the wise, if you have forward head, shoulder, and a lot of rounding through your upper back and your neck, please do not force the head back, because as you force the head back, you're going to lose the glory through the low back. So just do the best you can at keeping the alignment through the rib cage and the pelvis and the neck as long with the chin tucked as you can. Now, can you check in that your feet are still hip distance? Those outside of your feet are lining up. Can you put the weight in the center of your feet? Check in that that pelvis is in that neutral position. Make sure that you can see the feet if you just gently look down. Now let's go through something called hip hinging to learn how to not use our low back and provide arthritis to our low back with activities of our daily life. So here's what I want you to do. Bend your knees, push your hips behind you, never let your spine let go of that stick. Gaze goes straight down to your yoga mat, and then push through your feet and keep pushing and give your butt a nice little pinch at the very, very top. Very nice. So let's repeat that 5 times here. Find that weight in the center of your feet. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Bend the knees, sit the hips back, keep the spine and the stick touching. Gaze downward. Inhale, push into the feet and give that glutes a nice big squeeze. 4 more times. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, keep the stick in alignment with the body. Ready? Inhale and push up through the feet and squeeze those glutes. And exhale here. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, sitting, 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 sitting. Leave that stick touching that entire spine. And inhale, pushing back up, squeezing those glutes. And exhaling here. 2 more times. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, sitting back, bending the knees, seeing that those shin bones don't fall forward. And inhaling up, pushing through the feet. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze them. And exhale here 1 more time. Take an inhale. Exhale, hip hinge. Bend the knees, bend the hips, keep the spine in contact with the stick. And inhale all the way back up. And exhale there. Very good. How did you do? Could you keep the stick in contact with the spine? Could you push the hips back and keep your balance? Right, so lots of things that we do there that really affect those joints of the back of our spine and make us overuse our low back if our quadriceps and, more importantly, our gluteal muscles are too weak. Very nice. Now, we're going to be coming down into a half kneeling position. So luckily, you have something for balance today, but we want to take a moment to kind of stretch out through our hip flexors here. So just holding the stick, step one leg back, and have yourself so that you're about 2 feet away with your legs from one another, maybe 3 feet if you're really tall. Line the outside of your left foot up with the mat and line the outside of your right foot up with the mat. In this position, hold the stick on the right side for balance. Now, don't move from here, but can you check in that your body looks like it's halfway between the right leg and halfway between the left leg? All right, use your abdominals, use your gluteal muscles and hamstrings. Take a deep inhale, and can you tuck your tailbone under? If you have tight hip flexors, you probably already feel this. Holding this position, take a deep inhale into your belly. And then as you exhale, see if there's any more tuck you've got. One more time, nice deep inhale. And exhale, tucking, tucking, tucking. Beautiful, release your tuck. Turn yourself around. So now it's the left leg that's back and the right leg that's forward. You can actually keep yourself on the same side, but I turned myself around. Take those feet about hip distance apart. Can you line up the right foot to the outside of the mat? Line up the left foot to the outside of the mat. You'll really feel like your left leg is turning inward here. Take the stick, place the stick on the left side for balance. In this position, take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, use the abdominals, use the glutes, use the hamstrings, tuck the tailbone under and feel the stretching right here through those hip flexors. Holding here, nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. One more breath, inhaling in and then exhaling, letting go. Very, very nice. Now, changing your feet back again to place the right leg back, using your stick, both hands if you need to. Gently allow yourself to come down onto your right knee. If you've got a sensitive knee, you might have a pillow nearby. Since I asked you to get one, you can place that underneath your knee, or you can double or triple your yoga mat, whatever feels comfortable for you. But check in that your knee and the outside of your shin runs parallel to the outside of your mat. And then get your hips stacked perfectly on top of your knee. Walk your left leg forward so that your foot is at least in line with your knee, if not further, and hold on to that stick today for balance. It's not about a balance exercise. It's about opening up the hip flexors to get rid of all of that tension that causes arthritis in the back of our spine. Maintaining this position, nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, tuck that tailbone under. Tucking that tailbone under, really using those abdominals, glutes, and hamstrings. Hold that position there. Take a deep inhale in and an exhale out. One more time, nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. Beautiful, releasing the tuck. Simply allowing yourself to bring your left knee down to the floor and placing the right foot back up. Change the stick. So now the stick is on the left side. Check in that the left leg bone or the shin bone lines up with the outside of the mat, and then that the left hip is in line with the left knee. Right leg, make sure that the ankle is at least in line with the knee or slightly in front of, and then use that stick for balance today. Now in that position, take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, tuck that tailbone under, use the abdominals, use the glutes and hamstrings to make that happen and get that length through those hip flexors. Holding here, nice deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Nice deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Beautiful. Now, here's what I want you to do. We're done with the stick, so you can just gently place your stick to the side of you and then make your way down into child's pose, and I will join you there in just a second. Okay, we are in child's pose, done with the standing part of our low back opening, and now let's really work on each of those low back joints, finding some really good space using our mat today. So first, come up into hands and knees. Check in that your knees are hip distance. Look back behind your feet and make sure that your feet line up with your knees. Make sure that your hands are shoulder width distance, index fingers are forward, thumbs are inward. Spread out those outer 3 fingers. And in that position, in your tabletop, Check in, maybe even close your eyes for a minute and check in. Do you feel equal weight right to left side? So maybe even kind of rock yourself for a second. And then do you feel equal weight front to back? Once you feel like, yep, that's the correct alignment for me, lengthen your neck, settle your chin, gaze down between those two fingers. Take a nice deep inhale here. Let your belly sink downward towards the floor, but see if you can keep your spine stable. So learning how to use those back muscles separate of your diaphragm. Exhale, can you pull your belly up and in, but not let that spine move? Try that one more time for me, ladies and gentlemen. Inhale, let the belly sink down, but keep the spine perfectly still. And then as you exhale, can you pull that belly up and in, but don't let the spine arch? Beautiful. Now let's go through a couple of cat-cows here. So as you inhale, sink the belly, sink the spine, shoulder blades back and down. Allow the tailbone to lift, lengthen the neck, and look all the way upward. And then as you exhale, allow yourself to curl the spine up, belly button towards the spine, tuck the tailbone, chin to chest, push those shoulder blades away. Let's do two more. Inhale, sinking all the way down. Really let that tailbone lift, allow the neck to lengthen. And then as you exhale, now really focus on tucking that tailbone today and pulling that belly button up and in. That's where I want your focus today. Last time, inhaling, sinking it all down, just letting it rest down into that arch, lengthening the neck and looking up. And this final time, really tuck that tailbone under, really pull that belly button in and chin to chest. Now just gently walk your hands backward, sit yourself onto your heels. If you need support for your knees, just a towel or blanket underneath them will probably help you have a little bit more ease with your knees. Couldn't help myself on that one. And then I want you to find your pillow. So oftentimes, when we think of the spine, here he is. When we do a child's pose, the whole purpose of our child's pose is to fold in all of our guts and fold in those hip flexors and let every single spine open up, therefore opening up and creating movement to all of those low back muscles. But unfortunately, what usually happens is we just kind of let ourselves keep the arch through our low back, and those joints stay tense, they stay tight, and there comes the inflammation. What can help is something to allow you to kind of distract your rib cage up and over your spine. So find a pillow for me, please, and squeeze that pillow deep into your hip creases. Have your hands on the pillow, and imagine, if you can, if you inhale and try to push your rib cage up away from your pelvis, and then let yourself bend up and over that pillow. That's it. You may not get the crown of your head to the floor, particularly if your low back's really tight. Now, if you've got a larger abdomen, this makes it difficult to diaphragmatically breathe. So we're not going to stay here for a long time, but really take a deep inhale into that pillow. Feel that opening through that lower back area. Boy, those joints are going to thank you, and you are going to work on improving that inflammation. Two more breaths here. Nice deep inhaling in and exhaling out. One more time here. Nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. Slowly walking yourself up, taking your little pillow to the side. We're not done with it. We're going to do it again, but walking yourself back to hands and knees. Once you're in hands and knees, taking your feet and gently sweeping your feet to the left side of your mat, taking your right hand and reach the right hand up and over the left hand. Make sure you didn't lean yourself all the way to your left side, but rather there's still weight in your right knee. Take a nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, can you tuck your tailbone under, really tighten those abdominals, and try to sit yourself back into that right heel. You may not make it to the heel, and that's okay, but make sure you feel that beautiful stretch through the side of your rib cage and maybe some into that low back area.
Now gently lengthen your neck and settle your chin and allow it to forward towards the mat. Take a deep inhale into your belly now. Can you push into that right thigh? And then exhaling out. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep inhaling in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Slowly walk yourself up. Bring the knees gently towards the right side of your mat, or your feet, sorry. Once your feet are to the right side of the mat, take that left hand up and over the right hand. Now, as you did that, make sure you didn't shift your weight to the right, but you still feel weight into that left knee. Now take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, really tighten those abdominals, pull that belly in, tuck that tailbone under, and do your best to sit back towards that left heel. Once you find yourself, I can't go any further, gently lengthen your neck, settle your chin between your arms, and take a deep inhale with the focus on breathing the belly into the left thigh. Exhaling out. One more deep inhale here into that left thigh, and exhaling out. Beautiful. Slowly coming back up, making sure that you have knee hip distance, feet straight behind. Walk those hands so they're underneath that shoulders. And let's do 3 cat-cows before we make our way back to that new adjusted child's pose. So take an inhale, sink the belly, lift the tailbone gently, shoulder blades back and down, lengthen the neck and look upward, and exhale. Now on your exhale, really tighten those abdominals, pull the belly up and in, and tuck that tailbone under. Inhale, sinking everything down, shoulder blades back and down, lengthening through the neck. And then on the exhale, that's where it's at today, guys. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, pull that belly up and in. Really strengthen those abdominal muscles. Final inhale, sinking everything down, lengthening through the head, shoulder blades are back and down. Now, really exhale, tighten those abdominals, pull that belly up and in, tuck that tailbone under. Walk your hands back towards your knees and gently sit towards your heels. Walk yourself up. Grab your trusty little distraction pillow. And after you've got that, place that entire pillow up and into the creases of your hips. So that's going to allow you to lift your rib cage up and over that pillow. Take your hands onto the pillow. Deep inhale, straighten those elbows, lift that rib cage up off of that spine. And as you exhale, fold over that pillow and, oh my goodness, give that length to every spinal joint in your low back area. Gently let your head fall towards the floor. If it does not reach the floor and you feel like your neck needs support, just gently hold your hands to your forehead or something to support yourself. But the focus right now is on breathing into that pillow. So allow yourself a nice deep inhale into your belly. And then as you exhale, imagine that rib cage coming up and over that pillow closer to the floor. 2 more breaths, deep inhaling in. And as you exhale, are you moving your guts around? Are you folding your hip flexors? I hope so. Last one here, nice deep inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Slowly coming up. Placing your pillow beside you. Last thing that we're doing in hands and knees before we make our way down to our mat. So come back up again onto your hands and knees. And what I want to teach you today is a way to open up the joints of your low back, side to side, front to back, with doing nothing other than a miniature cat-cow. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to kind of tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button up and in. Don't worry about the breath yet, but see if you can make that happen. But try not to arch your rib cage and your back too much. But keep that tailbone tucked. Keep those abdominals in. Now, can you maintain the hips on top of the knees as you tuck? And then can you gently push the hips just a tiny amount back? So as you're gently pushing a little bit back, you're going to feel a little bit of opening through that low back. You should be using lots of abdominals here to pull that pelvis into that position. Now, stay with the hips slightly behind the knees. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin, maybe even gaze down to your knees. In that position, gently push into your hands, take an inhale, and on the exhale, sweep the feet to the right. Inhale to the center, exhale, sweep the feet to the left. You've got it, guys. Inhale, center, exhale, sweep the feet to the right. Inhale to the center, tuck the tailbone, tighten the abdominals. Sweep the feet to the left. Let's do one more time. Inhale to the center, sweep the feet to that right. Inhale to the center, and finally sweep the feet to that left. Beautiful. Inhale those feet back to the center. Exhale, sitting back onto your heels the last time with your pillow, opening up those spine joints that are oftentimes inflamed, also known as arthritis, before we make our way flat onto our mat. So tuck that pillow up and in. Allow yourself to take that deep inhale, lengthen your spine off of that lumbar spine. And then as you fold over that pillow, just imagine every one of those joints slowly opening up. Gradually let your head come towards the floor. Settle yourself right here. Yes, I know it's hard to breathe, but you are doing a fantastic job for your lumbar spine here. So gently in this position, start working on that inhaling and that exhaling into that pillow. And inhale, last time, guys. Exhale into that pillow. Slowly bringing yourself up, wanting to throw that pillow away, but just gently place it off to the side of your yoga mat. And then gently bringing yourself down through your side. Once you're laying on your side, slowly bringing yourself onto your back. Now, as you find yourself onto your back today, we've already done tons of lengthening of all of the muscles that sit behind those lumbar joints. We've done good opening through our hip flexors, good strengthening through our glutes, and good training of our abdominal muscles, whether you noticed it or not. Now let's take our right knee to our chest. Take a deep inhale here, and as you exhale, pull that knee into your chest. Left leg, straighten that leg straight down the mat here. Now in this position today with your left leg, just kind of keep the knee as straight as you can feel comfortable. With your right leg, take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, pull that knee up and into your chest. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Simply keep yourself in this position. Now, can you focus on the belly touching the right thigh? Take a deep, deep inhale into the belly. And then as you exhale, just gently let the air come out as that knee stays towards that chest. One more time here. Nice deep inhaling in. Exhaling. Beautiful. Slowly slide the left leg up the mat, release the right foot to the floor, and then taking that left knee to the chest. Once the left knee is to the chest, hands around the shin bones, just gently lengthen the right leg down the mat. Now today, don't work on pushing the right leg into the mat, just simply allow the knee to be as straight as you can get it. Take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, pull that left knee into your chest. Now lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Feel where the left belly and that left thigh are touching one another. Can you take that nice deep inhale into your belly? Opening, stretching through that low back, and then as you exhale, relaxing. One more time for me here. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Slowly sliding the right leg up. Once the right leg is bent, bring the right knee to the chest to join where the left one is. Hands around each shin bone here, taking a nice deep inhale. And on that exhale, pulling the knees into the chest, lengthen the neck, settle the chin. Now, feel exactly where your belly touches your thigh. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. One more time here. Nice, deep inhaling in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Holding the right knee still to your chest, taking that left leg, placing the left foot on the floor, and then sliding that left leg straight down the mat. Now, with that right knee, gently bringing it to the center of your chest this time. So you're just kind of adducting or pulling the knee to the midline. But make sure as you do that, your right pelvis does not come off the floor. And then gently holding the right knee with the right hand, taking that left hand and sliding that left hand downwards towards the right ankle. Take a nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, find that comfortable position for the right hip, as much as that can be said, with the knee to the center of the body, and then allow yourself to start to pull that left ankle towards that left shoulder. Feel that beautiful opening throughout that right hip, sorry. Can you lengthen your left leg onto the floor? Taking a nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, finding that end range of that right hip stretch. Now, maintain this. Can you do that belly breath to open up those right low back joints? Deep inhale into the belly, into the thigh, and exhaling out. Beautiful. Slowly releasing the left hand from the ankle, finding the alignment of that right knee again, sliding the left leg up, and once the left foot is flat on the floor, bringing the left knee to the chest, and then releasing the right foot to the floor. Once the right foot is to the floor, sliding the right leg down the mat. Now taking that left knee and doing the same thing. Find that point that you can bring the left knee to the chest, but you don't feel the pelvis lifting up off the floor. And then when you find that position for you, left hand holds on to the left knee, right hand kind of guides its way down to find as close to that left ankle as you can. I'm a bit tighter on my left side today. Take a nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, pulling that knee towards the center of the chest, and then start to pull that left ankle upwards towards that right shoulder. One more deep inhale here, and then exhale. Is there any more wiggle room with the knee? Any more wiggle room with the ankle? Can you check in that your right knee is straight? Let's find that belly breath into the thigh. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Deep inhale into that left thigh with the belly. And exhaling out. Beautiful. Slowly letting go of that left ankle, lining it back up, holding on to the left knee to the chest, sliding the right leg up. Once the right foot is flat on the floor, bringing the right knee back to the chest, taking a nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, pulling those knees into your chest. Beautiful. Now, slowly, one foot at a time, placing your feet onto your mat so that your feet look like to you that they're somewhere underneath your knees. Knees are hip distance, and if you could see your feet right now, your feet are also hip distance. Pull your heels just slightly out, so maybe you can kind of get that nice alignment of the outside of your feet with the outside of your mat. Now, here is something really important for us to talk about when it comes to back arthritis. In the fitness world, bridges are a very common exercise to strengthen our glutes and our hamstrings. But unfortunately, if you have a lot of joint arthritis in your low back, inflammation in the joints of your low back, degeneration of the joints of your low back, bridging should not be in your protocol of fitness, because you will likely be causing even more inflammation in your low back. So what I want to show you is a way that you can safely negotiate a bridge without irritating those joints of your low back. So allow yourself in this position to lengthen your neck and settle your chin. Do you remember in standing how we use the ankle joints to move the weight into the balls of our pinkies and our big toes? As you're laying here in this hook line position with your knees bent, feel that there's not really any weight into the ball of your pinkies or ball of your big toes right now. Now, here's what I want you to do. Take a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, tighten and harden your abdominals and squeeze your glutes. Good. Hopefully in that position, you did not perform a massive pelvic tilt and lift your hips off the floor, but rather all you did is squeeze the glutes to one another as you tighten your abdominal. So check in. Are your abdominal muscles tight, and are you pinching those buttock muscles towards one another? Now, here is the safe bridge for somebody with back arthritis. Merely in this position, focus on your feet, and as you inhale, try to gently push the weight into the balls of your feet. You should feel that your glutes and your hips lift maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches maximum off the floor, but you're squeezing and lifting with your glutes, you're tightening with your abdominals, and you're not using your low back. Push into the floor with your feet, but make sure those balls of the toes are taking the weight as your knees move forward. Can you hold this position for one nice inhale? Squeeze those glutes, guys. And then as you exhale, don't let go of the abdominals, but slowly let the weight come back to the heels. One more time. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take a nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, tighten the abdominals, squeeze the glutes, but don't lift the pelvis off the floor, so don't do a pelvic tilt. Now, focus in and feel. Nope, there's no weight in the ball of my toes or my big toe or my pinky right now. So take an inhale here, and as you exhale, push the weight into the big toe and the pinky. Knees will move forward, hips will slip slightly, but you will not be in your low back. Keep the abdominals tight, squeeze those glutes nice and tight as you push into the balls of your feet. Hold it here, nice deep inhale in, and exhale, and slowly drop down. Now, if you're joining me at home and you did either of those modified bridges and your hamstrings cramped, you know who you are, right? If your hamstrings cramped, then you have weak gluteal muscles. So maybe think about using that stick and standing and working on those gluteal exercises every single day to hip hinge. You need it to protect your back. All right, let's open up those hamstrings for those of you that did have a little cramp. So take your right knee to your chest, nice deep inhale here, exhale, pull your knee to your chest, and just gently lay the left leg down. Let's take our toes, point them up, keep the knee to the chest, lengthen your neck, settle your chin, and take an inhale and gently straighten that right leg. And then as you exhale, let it bend. 2 more times here. Inhale, straightening that right leg. And exhaling, let it bend. And inhaling, straightening. And exhaling and letting it bend. Beautiful. Sliding the left leg up, releasing the right foot to the floor. Left knee to your chest. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, pull that knee to your chest. Shoulder blades are back and down. And take that right leg to the floor. Lengthen your neck. Settle your chin. Toes are up for me, please. Let's go through 3 here. Inhaling, straightening that left leg, knee stays to the chest, and exhaling and relaxing. 2 more times here. Inhaling and straightening, and exhaling and relaxing. You've got it, guys. One last time. Nice deep inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. Slide the right leg back up, release the left foot to the floor. Now, we're going to do some pelvic clocks to understand how to do a healthy movement of your low back. Remember, motion is lotion. So in this position for me, please, just take your hands and place your hands over your hip pointers or the front of your hip. Check in that your feet feel about hip distance, knees are bent, and feet are directly underneath your knees here. Now, if you had a clock kind of sitting on your pelvis area here, 12 o'clock's coming up towards your head and 6 o'clock is going down towards your feet. So if we arch our low back and point our pelvis downward towards the 6 o'clock, what I want you to understand is you're very likely inflaming those joints if they're already irritated and arthritic. So release your pelvis away from the 6 o'clock, and we're going to be focusing on moving up to the 12 o'clock area only. But what I want you to think about is if you were to tighten your abdominals and pull your pelvis to 12 o'clock, there's a straight 12 o'clock. Now release your pelvis for me, please. How about if you thought about that clock and the 11 o'clock is on the right side of that clock? What if you tightened your abdominals and you pulled up to that 11 o'clock and felt just a little bit of push into that left leg? Can you feel that left glute firing as you fire your abdominals to bring that back into that 11 o'clock position? Very nice. Release the clock and the pelvis back to neutral. And let's think about that 1 o'clock position. So if we thought just slightly to the left of 12, if we worked on tightening our muscles and just slightly pushing into our right foot, we're going to take that pelvis up into that 1 o'clock position, really nicely opening through those arthritic joints of our spine without adding to the inflammation. All right, settle the pelvis. Let's see if we can do 12, 11, and 1 with some nice good breath here. So take an inhale with your pelvis in the center. As you exhale, tighten your abdominals and move straight up to 12 o'clock. Beautiful. No weight in the feet here. It's all abdominals, ladies and gentlemen. Release the pelvis back to the center. Nice deep inhale into the belly, going to 11 o'clock. As you exhale, tighten the abdominals, slightly push into that left leg, and begin to push that pelvis up to the 11 o'clock. Slowly releasing. Going to the 1 o'clock. Nice deep inhale here in that neutral position, not going down towards 6 today. As you exhale, slowly tightening the abdominals, pushing to that 1 o'clock, slight push into that right leg, hold it here, and then slowly relaxing. Very nice. Take your right knee to your chest for me. Take your left knee to your chest for me. This time, take your knees and your feet wider than hip distance. Allow yourself to take your hand to the underside of your right knee and the hand to the underside of the left knee. Now, we're doing a modified happy baby here, but if you want to do a full happy baby, I think go for it, but don't create any tension or pain in your hip joints. So a safe way to do happy baby, we could stay right here. What I'd like you to try to do, can you get your shin bones perpendicular towards the floor, maybe trying to place your feet onto the ceiling? Then think about maybe walking your hands up the outside of your legs. If you've got really good flexibility through your hips, maybe even walking your hands to the outside of your ankles and feet. Keeping the shin bones perpendicular, keeping those feet stacked straight on top of those knees. All right, this is all about what the arms are doing, guys. So lengthen your neck, settle your chin, and take a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, gently settling the knees towards the floor, gently using your biceps and shoulder blades to pull your feet downward. Maintaining your happy baby right here. Can you take a nice deep inhale into your belly? Oh, what a beautiful opening through the low back and pelvis, and then exhaling out. One more time here. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Beautiful. Slowly walking the hands back down to the underside of the knees, gently bending the knees, bringing the feet back to one another. One foot on the floor followed by the other. All right, let's do a spinal twist here. So let's take our left leg straight down to the mat. Take your right foot onto your left thigh, left hand, reach to the right knee, right hand out to the side of the body. Now take a nice deep inhale here, and then on your exhale, gently pull that right knee over to the left. Feel the pelvis lift, feel the low back lift, feel the entire rib cage lift, but keep that right shoulder blade and that right hand down. Gaze to the right as you lengthen your neck and settle your chin. Now take a deep inhale into your belly here. And exhaling out. One more nice, beautiful, deep inhale in and exhaling out. Starting at that right shoulder blade, slowly bringing the rib cage back down, followed by the low back, followed by the pelvis, unrotating that hip, placing the right foot on the floor, sliding the left leg up, right leg comes down onto the floor, left foot up onto the right thigh, right hand to the left knee, left hand out to the side of the body. Taking a nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, lifting the pelvis, lifting the low back, lifting that rib cage as it rotates, maintaining the left shoulder blade and arm on the floor, lengthening the neck, settling the chin, gazing at that left hand or thumb. Deep, beautiful inhale into the belly here. And exhaling out. And one more nice time. Nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Slowly turning your head back to the center, starting to derotate that spine from the rib cage, and then the low back, and then the pelvis. Unrotate the knee, place the left foot on the floor, bring that right knee up, roll your shoulder blades underneath you. All right, guys, here's what I want you to do today to find that resting pose. Take your hands back to that pelvis. Take a deep inhale here, and on that exhale, tighten those abdominals. Bring that pelvis up to that 12 o'clock. So create that flexion of your lumbar spine for a moment. Maintain that tightness in your abdominals, and then very slowly slide the left leg down to the left corner. And then slowly slide the right leg down to the right corner, and then release those abdominals, release that 12 o'clock. Gently bring your arms out to the side of you. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And then take an exhale out. Now for these last few seconds of class, let's just kind of do a little bit of a mini mental exam, right? Can you go back to an hour ago? Can you remember what you were thankful for? What you decided you were grateful for today? Is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it something that you do? Whatever that person, object, activity is, take these last few seconds to think about them. Now, when you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, and then just gently start to slide one leg up, followed by the other. After you've got your legs bent and your feet flat on the floor, gently allow yourself to roll over onto your side, resting there for a minute, taking a nice deep inhale and an exhale, and then gently pushing yourself up into a seated position. Oh, I hope your low back feels as good as mine. Hands to your heart, smiles on our faces. Nice deep inhale in and out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today.